Whether we like it or not, he's the self-proclaimed governor of Mid-Missouri, and he's the host of TTBS, the podcast. Since we can't shut him the hell up, here's Tom Bradley.
Thank you, Nikki Garman. Always appreciative of your wonderful talents. That's what your husband said anyway. I came out there. No, Nikki, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we are live from Truman's Bar and Grill. Don't forget they got their incredible buffet on Saturday and Sunday. And that includes, did you know they give you free coffee and tea during that thing?
With the buffet?
With the buffet.
That's a heck of a deal.
I know what it is.
I miss buffets.
Well,
do you remember back then there was pizza buffets and there was the Chinese buffets, which they still kind of have, but there were so many buffets back in the day.
Why'd you have to segregate pizza from China? Why'd you have to do that?
Well, because they're two different countries.
Well, China's a country. Pizza's a magical
ubiquitous.
land.
Yeah,
I
just think of Italia.
The guy you're hearing over here next to me is Ellis Bennis. You're doing a hell of a job, by the way.
Why, thank you very much.
You're doing a great job, and I thank you
It's tough work sitting here responding to you and making fun of you. I'm telling you.
You have this thing where you like to know who the guest is going to be, and I have this deal where I don't like you to know.
He just wants to throw curveballs at me.
I just like you to come in. I want you to experience it from a very childlike, inquisitive posture where you're like, who is it? What do they do? What's going on? But I did text you yesterday, and I said, hey, man, Todd Burke's going to be on.
I was so excited.
And you hit me back, you're like, I know him.
That's my boy.
Like I'm his kid's godfather or something. You guys have known each other a long time.
Long time.
Todd Burke is, let me explain who that is. Todd Burke is a highly trained and skilled specialist in self-defense, safety, firearms, law enforcement training, personal guardian for the Tom Bradley Show. I think we had a title for him. It was like the omnipotent being of self. I will ask him when we bring him on here in a few minutes what the heck that is. But at floatingaxe.com, that's your company.
That's me.
And you actually take care of things like tactical
specialties.
Specialties.com, and that's Todd's website.
It sure is.
And if you want to look up some stuff on Todd and what he does right now, you can do so. At the end of the podcast, we will get to keep your eye on the crap. We'll get to do it. We'll get to the segment, Keep Your Eye on the Crap, brought to you by Family Focus Eye Care. And that also means, by the way, you'll get to find out if you and I, since we chose the same answer, if we were right with their eye trivia.
Yeah.
I know everyone at home is excited about that.
On the edge of their seats.
I'm like, I can't believe we're going to finally find out about this thing. You might be on your edge of your seat for this.
Release the hound!
Big announcement of the week, and that's brought to you by Creekside Pet Center and Bed and Biscuit and Dirty Harry's in Boonville. I got to tell you something about Creekside. The people who own that, the family that owns it, that would be Jacob and Amanda Brummett. And they went last week out of the country. I think they were in Mexico. Now, I wouldn't bring that up, but they did post it on social media.
Okay.
So they were out of the country. What do they do with their dogs when they're out of the country and they take the long forgotten vacation they've deserved for so long? What do they do with their pups? Their pups were at Creekside Pet Center.
Makes sense.
And I think, if you have a chef that never eats at his own restaurant, that's a problem.
Yep, sure is.
That is a problem. A doctor that doesn't follow her own advice, that's a problem.
Yep.
These guys, of course, they take care of your pets as if they were their own. They love them almost as much as you do. So
that's good.
Keep that in mind. MidmoDogboarding.com. I know it's the big announcement of the week. And you're wondering if the announcement is that last night Mizzou at Mizzou Arena beat Vanderbilt. The Commodores ranked, I think, at number 19 in the nation. We beat them 81-80.
Whoa!
And you're wondering if that's the big announcement.
It's a nail biter.
It is. Yes, it is. It is not the big announcement. I will tell you this, although it's not the big announcement either. Next week on TTBS the podcast, we're going to have on a friend, actually more than a friend, the official barbecue sauce of the Tom Bradley Show.
Ooh.
That's Show Me Barbecue Sauce.
I love Show Me's.
My man Rike is going to join us. You're not going to believe this crap.
All right.
Rike and Show Me are being sued by some idiot-ass blind dude up in New York State. New York State?
New York City.
Who says Show Me's website is not like ADA compliant enough for this
No
person
way.
because they're blind.
Dude, I've had to deal with this with so many of my clients. It's so frustrating. I haven't had lawsuits yet because as soon as I got wind of this, we literally started installing an accessibility widget on the websites just as quick as we could.
Is it
I'm still
expensive,
rolling it
cheap,
out.
or what?
It's like $50 a month. It's really annoying. We have to spend that much on this stupid widget,
If
it's way cheaper than a freaking lawsuit.
Well, I got to tell you something. ttbs.show, which is access to our website. You can go there whether you're blind or not. What am I supposed to do for someone that's hearing impaired since we produce a podcast? I'm serious.
Hey, I just started adding transcripts so they can read the transcripts now. But no, these are completely BS lawsuits.
Well, we'll get into it next week because I'm so glad that you're on top of this.
And our legislators, we can talk about this. They are taking steps to help business owners.
I know, and
I'm so excited.
I said to Rika, I go, dude, wait a second. If this is happening to Show Me barbecue sauce, what about me? He goes,
Yep.
Yep. I didn't like the way he said,
Hey, if you're worried about it, contact Floating Axe because I will get you taken care of.
Now, this is the big announcement this week. I want to make sure that you understand where we are with whatever charges have been filed and she's been acquitted of or found not guilty of. Crystal Umphris, I want to bring this up. I've talked about it before. Crystal and I have known each other a long, long time. She's been on the show a number of times in different capacities, but never has she been on the show to talk about these charges, including the arson charges that she just beat down in Kennett and Dunklin County. That case was tried in Butler County, as I understand it. She has pled guilty to making a false affidavit, which is a misdemeanor, according to Butler County, sentenced to 90 days in jail, but was given credit for time served. And I read that from ABC17news.com. Previously charged with several felonies in the case of filing false documents, 3 counts of forgery she was accused of. Now, I don't know if that gets her out of everything she's been accused of. There could be parking tickets. I don't have any idea. But I ran into Crystal, and I reached out to her again this week.
All right.
And I said, and she has been invited on the show, but I sent her a text and I said, I'm inviting you to the show. If you'd like to say anything on your behalf, if you would like to come on and clear your name, tell your story, make sure you set the record straight, whatever it is. And, of course, if she does, I get to ask any question. You get to ask any question you want to. She has not responded back. I'm not bringing this up right now to slam or throw anybody under a bus, but I want you to know where I am. I am so damn sick and tired of these deep throats reaching out to me. I have a guy that I know is a wonderful, a big-hearted guy here in Columbia that reached out to me yesterday. Said, Tom, if you really want the skinny behind the stuff with Crystal, let me know. I've got more people coming out. And do you know what I would listen to from you? Nothing. All that is hearsay.
Right.
It's just all this noise.
Yeah. Unless you specifically watched and were an eyewitness, which was, if you were, then why didn't you come forward with the law
You'd be with the
enforcement?
authorities right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had some stuff delivered to me that I sent off to the Columbia Police Department concerning this case 2 years ago. I'm here to talk about crap. I'm not an investigator, and I sure haven't been charged with any of these crimes. So I did include in the message to Crystal, this is really important that I share this with you. I said, this offer of you joining us on the podcast will not last long. And I'll tell you why. I'm that kind of an asshole, and I don't like having my chain yanked around.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point in my life where I can tell you, the offer's here. It might be here for 5 more days or 5 more minutes. I don't know. Or 5 weeks. I have no idea. But there's a good chance it won't be there very long. If she doesn't choose to come on the show, I have the utmost respect for her decision on that. I am, after all, an asshole, as I've said. So self-proclaimed governor and self-proclaimed asshole. So I'm just telling you that is out there. That's the big announcement right now that I want to make sure that you were aware of. Okay, with that out of the way, it is time to bring on our guest this week, Todd Burke. And I want to give the full introduction again, Todd, but what do I call you above everything? What the hell are you? What are you?
I am the Minister of Defense to the Governor of Mid-Missouri.
That's it. Minister of Defense to the Governor of Mid-Missouri.
I knew. Do you have that written down somewhere? Did Joan, your wife, put that on a plaque like in the bathroom mirror? You're like, every morning you're just... How did you remember that?
Because you gave me the title.
You are. If I'm going to have someone that's going to be the Minister of Defense, he's going to know what the hell he's doing, and he's going to be one big son of a bitch. And you are both of those things. When I introduced you earlier, was I wrong? You're highly trained.
Okay.
You're a skilled specialist in self-defense.
Yes, sir.
Safety, firearms, law enforcement training.
Fire rescue, tactical medicals.
Rescue, and also medical. Anything medical on an EMT level, right?
Paramedic.
Yeah,
Well, this is my 43rd year in emergency services. I started out here in 1983.
He's been doing it longer than I've been alive.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I get that a lot.
Well, yeah, that happens to once you hope to get old enough.
Yes, I
For
do.
that kind of thing.
With comments like that, I might not make it.
43rd year.
Yeah, 43 years.
Are you did you have some kind of an early death wish? I mean, you're like going out to where a shooting has been, and you're taking care of people that have bullet wounds. You're going out to firefight. You're going out to show people how to firefight with guns. Do you have a death wish?
No, but I just don't think I know what I want to do when I grow up.
Okay. And that takes it from there. You are so busy. You reached out recently, a month ago, something like that, and said, hey, you guys were talking to Tom Dresner and talking about what was going on with ICE up in Minneapolis and some things. And I'm not surprised that a couple of things wind up being, no pun intended, but trigger words, phrases, and conversations for somebody like you, because you hear it. And you're like, I'd like to get involved with this thing. And I like the fact that you reached out. When's the last time you were on my show?
Boy, it's been over a year. It might be close to 2. It's when I think the last time was when you were down south in the studio.
Oh, wow.
Okay, all right. Which now that is a year ago this month.
Okay.
Wow.
That we ended the Tom Bradley Show on radio.
Yeah, so it's been at least a year.
So at least a year, but it's probably more like a year and a half, 2 years. And it's hard to tell. How many times have you been on my show?
Oh, geez.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well, I mean, go back to when you were on the radio and back to when you were on 93.9. It's 15 years. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it was over 15 years.
That's awesome.
I'll bet you've been on the show at least more than a dozen times.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And back before you invited me on, it was Derek Gilbert.
Derek Gilbert.
Yeah.
Was that mornings or afternoons? Afternoons?
That was afternoons.
Afternoons you were going on. You've been doing this a long, long time. And have you been on Gary on Guns also?
No.
You've never done Gary on Guns?
No, I've never been on
He's
Gary.
had the idiot belt guy on, but he's never had the actual trained professional.
That is
Gary's
really,
got to do it. Yeah.
Gary needs to do that. I'll reach
text
out
him.
to him and send
We'll
him
both
to
do
you.
it.
He reached out once this past year. He used to have other guests on these topics.
Oh, that's right.
And Dale Roberts is on all the time, and Dale and I are best buddies. We
Sure.
teach classes together. And he goes, we need to get Todd on. We ought to reach out to Todd. And he did. And at the time, Saturday mornings that's when I do a lot of my classes here in town.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about law enforcement and really get into that. And I think a lot of people want to know. But earlier we were speaking before you got here. Ellis and I were talking to a buddy that walked in, and I was like, the problem in Minneapolis is if you're going to go and arrest thousands of people, why would you tell everybody unless that's a tactic? Because you're going to try to catch them in a net on the way out of town.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, you generally, I don't know, how did everyone in Minneapolis know that ICE was there?
and know where they were going.
Yeah, do you have any idea?
I can tell you that I just got back. Can we pause for a second?
Yeah.
First, I'd like to say good morning to my wife, Joan, who's
Aw.
sitting at home listening, and just sent a text and said, we need to adjust my title. I now need to be the Minister of War to the governor.
All right.
I want to say hello to my oldest daughter, Farley, who's getting off duty on Engine 4 in Bloomington, Minnesota. She's
Nice.
a firefighter EMT up there.
Wow.
And Fiona, my youngest, is waking up now, and she's getting the dog sleds ready to receive customers in Silverthorne, Colorado.
How long has she been doing the dog sled mushing?
This is her 5th or 6th year. She started out at the University of Missouri and said, I really don't like the way they're trying to shove liberalism down my throat.
Mm-hmm.
Farley just texted me, hi, Daddy. Bloomington Fire Department, Station 5 is listening.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
We're multi-state now.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. She left because it was liberal. She also wanted to mush dogs, and you can't do that at the university.
She found this
They
on.
won't let
There's
you
not
do-
an area for that at NMU.
No.
Yeah, she found it on her own, and she applied, and they wouldn't respond to her. And I said, if you want this, chase it down, go get it. So she got the owner of the company on the phone, which turned into a 1-hour FaceTime video, and they hired her.
Nice.
So she gets out there, life is good, we go out to visit, and the owner of this company pulls me off to the side and said, your daughter's incredible. We did not believe that a 19-year-old girl had the capacity to do this. And she's now the assistant manager of the company.
Nice.
It's
That's
really,
awesome.
it's obvious, but I'm going to point it out anyway.
Yeah.
You have a tremendous family, and you place them above everything else in your life, and it's obvious, and you've spent a lot of time and attention on the family and each individual, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think a lot of young men today don't understand how important that is, and they didn't have anyone show them the way. I'm not going to speak to women because they have a different relationship. They're more communicative than us guys are. But I was a dude growing up with a fantastic father, so I did have that. And some people, Ellis, did not have that, and yet they become great fathers also. And I think you're an example of that.
Yeah. I had a boss of a mom, though. So
Good.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Good.
She was the best.
But
She's still alive.
you took the time. You took the time with Joan to raise your daughters to be able to take care of themselves.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that we did with Farley and Fiona was we included them in everything that we did.
Yes.
And we didn't force them to play with guns. We made up our mind that they were going to learn gun safety. They chose that. They said, hey, Daddy, can we do that? We brought them up. We also, people compliment us on what wonderful people they are. And I say, well, Joan and I will take part of the credit, but it is it's the folks that they hung out with. They have been in a community of peers. Yeah. And Farley, she got interested in the fire service on her own. I didn't, force her to do that. And she was a firefighter here in Missouri for 5 years. Year before last, she met two great guys from Bloomington, Minnesota that came through my tactical medical class at Camp Ripley, Minnesota, that we do for the last 39 years.
Good God.
And they said, hey, we're getting ready to hire. You ought to apply with us. And she looked at these guys and said, why? And she said, I'm not interested in bouncing around to departments. And so she applied. They had a week together, great conversation. They invited her up for a ride-along. She did that, decided to apply, got hired with 19 others into a class of 20. And what I got to tell you is the chief of the department up there, his name is Yuli Seal. He's 70 years old. He's fit as heck.
That's awesome.
He still does the job. I got to spend a half an hour talking to him when we went up for the graduation. And I said, this is an incredible place. I mean, the people, the philosophies, it's something that I miss from long ago. And Farley actually called me on her way back to where she was staying during the recruit academy. She called me up and she just said, Dad, I'm in the right place.
Oh, that's awesome.
What a great feeling.
Yeah.
For her, for you, for Joan, for the whole family.
Well, and a big shout out to the Bloomington Fire Department because they're on the southern border of Minneapolis-St. Paul, so they're in the thick of it too right now.
They're in that. You did not take her down that path, is what you chose, even though you have a background in mush dogs. You had dogs, but you didn't actually drive any sled dogs, did
Yes, I did.
Oh, wow.
Wait, when you were young?
No, it's been about 10, 12 years now. During Christmas, we used to go up to Beardsley, Minnesota, population 283, and skip Christmas because we hate the commercialization of Christmas. So we'd go up into the wilderness, visit with Aunt Anna, focus on the reason for the season. Well, my German Shepherd, PJ, who I'll start crying if I get into this too deep right now.
I know.
Hey, the greatest dog of all time. We had a harness for him, and he was a big, strong boy. He was 110 pounds, and he wasn't fat.
Oh, God.
So here we are in Beardsley, Minnesota, the little town square, 2 bars, 1 supermarket, public park. And I took him up, and he dragged the girls around in a sled by himself.
Wow.
And Jonah and I are out, waving. People are looking at us out their windows, hiding behind the curtains, and we're waving like, come out and play, come out and play. And they're like, who are these people?
So you're going to count that as having driven...
That's sled dogs.
Yeah. And that's where she got it from. Okay,
man.
They don't fall far from the tree, do
That's
they?
awesome.
Thanks for taking us down there. I really greatly appreciate that. Let me ask you, as we set the stage again with your expertise in these things, do you have any idea the number of people, one way or another, you've trained in some level of safety and self-defense, whether it's for themselves or protecting their loved ones? How many people have you trained in any aspect of protecting themselves?
I can give you a ballpark. So, between doing this as a police officer, as a firefighter, co-training, doing that, Law Enforcement Training Institute, where I was a faculty member full-time for 7 years, I've kept track of who I've trained through tactical training specialties, and It's over 8,000 on like the Saturday classes in 20 years. And you could probably triple or quadruple that number through the police academy, through conferences that departments have done. And interesting that you mentioned that, because I will get texts, phone calls, emails from guys I haven't seen, gals, in 20 years. And they'll say, Mr. Burke, you probably don't remember me. I was a student in your police academy class. You were my coach in the fire academy. I just want to say thank you, because XYZ happened, and what you did, how you did it, saved my life.
Man, that's
and
awesome.
We also have a numbers game in which, if you get involved with, let's say, a church, are there times at which you're speaking to an entire congregation?
Oh, yeah, conferences.
That's
or
another 800 or 300 or whatever.
Yeah, when an organization brings me in, that can be 20 to 500, and regional conferences or in-service education that emergency services does. I've spoken at those conferences, so yeah, I guess I really have no idea.
Yeah, interesting that years ago, let's say it's 20 years now, close to that, when you and I first met. Because it is 20 years, I believe, since I started on the Eagle back then. And so it's coming up on 20 years. Did you know at the time, was it obvious, like, there's always going to be a need for what I do? See, I don't have that in my life. I'm always full of shit, and so I'll always keep on talking. But I think I'm going to run out, and there'll be an eventual end to this thing. Did you know there'd always be a need for what you do?
I don't think I did at first. And, because I was focused pretty much on police, fire, firearms, tactical medical. And then as things started to change, and you had Tom Dresner, who I found the picture. Tom and I were in the same graduating police academy in 1983. There's a picture that, anyway,
wow.
Tom's a great guy. I've known him for a long time, and he did a wonderful job here as the interim police chief. As a few more years started to go by, Strategos, I've been their firearms program manager this is my 21st year with Strategos International.
Damn.
We were among the first to do. We were doing school training and church safety training before it was cool. When people were still like, oh, you can't have guns in church.
Yeah.
So the longer I did this, the more it became apparent that not only people are starting to realize this is necessary.
Yeah.
Whether it's defending yourself in your own home when you're out and around, or if it's for an organization. And the advertising, you were my advertising early on. I mean, I sat through a couple of sales pitches. I have never purchased advertising for two reasons. One, the people that were trying to get me to pay $5,000 a month, which absolutely I could not afford.
Oh, yeah.
And they're trying to convince me, well, you can afford not to. Yeah. They would look at me and tell me that I was in a niche market, and I said, you have no idea what I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
by saying such a thing.
Exactly.
It shows their own ignorance.
You show you don't know anything, yeah.
Right.
Well, did you put your seatbelt on before you came to meet me today? Well, yes. Well, that's a safety issue. Do you have a fire extinguisher, smoke alarms? Do you know CPR? Can you clear your child's airway? And they're just looking at me Google-eyed, and I'm like, this is not a niche market. People focus on the guns.
Yeah.
This is not about the guns.
I want to take a moment on that. I think people that are anti-gun, people that are scared of guns, people that believe there should be a lot more laws and regulations really reining in what seems to be a free and open market to walk around with guns. If that's the way you feel, I understand where you are. You should be listening to this as much, if not more, than anyone else as we talk about these things. I don't think you should run away. This is a reality that we're all talking about. And in the next few months, we're going to talk a lot about the safety sales tax that's going to be proposed and we'll all be voting on in Columbia to generate $38 million a year on this. And we're going to talk about it a lot.
Right.
And at no point am I going to say it's all of that and no changes in gun laws. You're not going to hear that from me. We need more law enforcement. We need a greater importance of safety in this community for the citizens and for our visitors in this community. Safety needs to be top. Without it, there's nothing else. Would you agree with that?
Not only would I agree with it, I go back, I was listening to your show, and it was 2 days in a row, and you had, I believe it was the superintendent of public schools. It was either superintendent or somebody way up there, and they were talking about the top 10 priorities, things that are important there. And salaries were up there, teacher retention, all kinds of things. Safety was number 6. And I texted you that day. I said, are they on drugs? I mean, safety is an everybody issue and number 1 issue.
Yeah.
So
Especially for our kids.
right on.
My kids' school has an armed guard because it's me and they're homeschooled. You know what I mean? I was like, you're not coming through the front door, bro. I'm taking you out.
About that before.
They've got a full-time armed guard
Metal
sitting
detector.
there.
We got me.
Yeah.
What do you want?
I'm
You know,
detecting it.
Tom, something that you mentioned, because take this back to the very basic level. I mean, just the basic concealed carry class, 8 hours, one day. And that's what I started with, years and years and years ago before all the other stuff built up because people demanded it. But on more than one occasion, I've had someone come up to the line. And again, it's not just me. I'm running the class, but I've got 7, 8, 9, 10 coaches that are right there behind folks that need one-on-one help. And I've had in class a woman say, I'm scared of guns. I was in a relationship where I was threatened with a gun, whatever. So it's not so much about getting my permit, but I'd like to not be afraid of guns.
That's great.
Right on. So we get through the classroom portion, we get out on the range, we do some dry technical work that doesn't involve any shooting yet. When it comes time to the shooting, the first shots go off, and this person just breaks down, just comes apart in tears. And I'll just step up, put my hand on her shoulder, say, hey, step back for a second. You're okay. You're fine. And either me or one of my coaches will just stand there and help her work through it and say, you don't have to do this. Would you like to just stand back and watch?
Yeah.
And over the years, that's happened a bunch of times, and I will tell you that there has never been a participant that wasn't able to work through it.
That's awesome.
All they needed was a chance in their context of working through their issues. And I've kept in touch with some of those folks, and they've gone on to, okay, yes, my husband and I are on the same page. Yes, we didn't want a handgun, so we decided to get a shotgun. We've done the fire drills that you've told us how to do. We watched your video on that, and made it a culture. It's not a thing. It's not something that you do. It's part of who you are.
If somebody says, I'm terrified of firearms, I don't ever want to touch one, can you understand where they are? And would you agree that they probably shouldn't then? Because any great fear like that, you probably should just stand away. But they could still be trained on what it is and how it should be handled, correct?
Yeah, and this is where my wife Joan shines as a counselor, and her background in 40 years of emergency services is. Never force them to do that.
Yeah.
But before we just move on and say, okay, let's recognize you can't do that, and maybe talk about pepper spray or run away or whatever, say, would you be interested in examining your fear? Would you be willing to talk about that in a safe environment, a safe and comfortable environment of dignity and respect? And let's do that a couple of times. And, if they still can't work through it, sure. But most people, the big win is the fact that they got past their fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I've taken several people to the shooting range. There's not an indoor one in Columbia, I don't think anymore, right? I think they closed, but
there's Ammo Alley down south on the South Boone Canyon line.
But I had a couple people come to me and they're like, "Hey, my dad doesn't have guns. I don't know anything about guns. I know you carry, you like firearms, you do the training," and so they were like, "We're pretty scared of them." And I was like, "It's perfect. We got a little 22 pistols and just took them and we walked through all of that stuff, and it's great because now they shoot, I always look at it from the perspective of, well, here, let's look at one completely unloaded. Let's just talk about the mechanics, and then you can understand where the stuff goes." So
our oldest grandson Bradley went through one of your courses, and
how old was he when he did that?
Well, it's about 3 years ago.
That's about right. Yeah.
So that would have made him about 9.
That's awesome.
The youth shoot up at Green Valley.
Yeah, and it was really, really great, and we got to be a part of it. But he was also on his own with instructors, and we were there at the firing range, but we didn't go out there to the actual shooting position with him. He was out there with instructors, and we stayed where we were supposed to be, and it was great to watch this. And we've gone turkey hunting, no success, for several years now. We'll go again this spring. I haven't taken him during the youth portion yet because he has not been shooting yet, but I think this might be the year that he gets to, because I'm pretty sure G-Paw is going to pick up a 410 with the right load in there. He can handle the gun and it can take down a bird, and so I'm real excited about that idea. But I don't think guns have to be number one for sportsmen and going out to doing it.
Right.
It can be for whatever it is, but I see it. He knows that we use guns also for self-defense, and when we're out there in the field to hunt turkey, its safety is very, very high, and he learns so much from you guys. So thank you.
You bet.
For what you did. I mean, it's amazing. What's the youngest child that you've had through that course?
Through the youth course up at Green Valley?
Yeah.
6.
You've had a 6-year-old go through it. That's awesome.
We've had several, and that's kind of Green Valley came to me and asked if I'd kind of oversee this and help them promote it, and they turned the reins over to me. So they said, what should be our range? And I said, my experience, I don't think we ought to let under 6. And, if they're over 15, probably they're ready for something else. So let's give the young kids a chance.
When is safety no longer the number one priority with firearms?
Never.
When you saw the video that ended with a woman being shot to death and then running her car into a utility pole, when you saw that video, did you immediately think the same thing that I did and what Tom Dresner brought up weeks ago on this show, which is, what was that guy doing in front of the car? Did you think that?
No.
What was going on through your mind?
No. And I agree with everything that was said on the show, and Tom did a fabulous walkthrough of use of force. Mm-hmm. And one of the great things that he can do is help bring a group. He's an expert. What does that mean? He can lead a group of people to the discovery of the truth by the examples that he gave. What my very first thought was this. What I just saw is, of course, with this age now of immediate information and everybody's online, what we just saw within 3 or 4 days is going to be diametrically opposite from the discovery and the findings, because there's been no due process. Everybody forgets about the due process. So my first thought wasn't why he was over there. My first thought was this wonderful lady that's looking and smiling and saying, "Oh, I'm not going to hurt you," and then suddenly it's a gunfight. What were some of the other things that were immediately said? They immediately chastised the officer about shooting additional rounds after the first round that went through the windshield, after stepping off to the side and firing additional rounds. Why did he do that? Because that's the way that we train officers, to get offline when a threat is coming at you and attacking you. So, in just a brief period of time, I saw all of those things that were being criticized, and I stayed offline because I won't engage that.
You don't want to get into the muck and the crap of the whole thing. And so, yes, we do have to have our due diligence going through it, the discovery and everything else, and the investigation of it all. But did you feel that someone had let safety slip from being the number one priority that day in what you saw in the video?
At first blush, no, I didn't. Now that we've had time to see it over and over and over again, you can kind of pick things apart. But one of the other things that Tom visited with you on was, he said there's been a Supreme Court case precedent. Yes, Graham versus Connor, 1989. And he didn't go into detail, but a couple of more things that are important about that court case is that the court said in 1989, this remains, right now today, this is the most important use of force standard, applies to all uses of force. It's a constitutional issue. It's a Fourth Amendment issue. Every use of force will be judged at the frozen moment in time that it occurs, right then and there. The court said there will be no hindsight, which means that we sitting back, armchair quarterbacking an hour, 10 hours, 10 years later, can't say woulda, coulda, shoulda, unless we can bring forward evidence for discovery and prove it.
Well, what about the moments before it, or the 10 years before? What if we know someone is a violent criminal? Does that have a bearing?
Of course.
On what happens at that frozen moment in time?
Of course.
So it's all the information that this person had, probably law enforcement we're talking about. Although actually it comes into self-defense also, correct?
Yes.
So it comes into that frozen moment in time, but that information it was part of something that existed in that person's mind.
Yeah,
right?
and that particular officer in that particular incident, it came out that 6 months previous he had been in another incident where he had been dragged by a motor vehicle. So what came out of Graham versus Connor is what we know today as the reasonableness doctrine, or the reasonable man principle. Up until 1989, the metric for how much force is too much force came out of the 1950 Supreme Court, which was that which shocks the conscience. So does this incident shock the conscience? No, not too much force. Yes, it does. Probably too much force. Examine it. 1989, the Rehnquist court came together and said that is too nebulous. That won't work. So
yeah, because I think it shocked all of us to some. I mean, it shocked me when it happened, but that doesn't mean right or wrong.
Yeah. Correct.
It was shocking, right?
So the reasonableness doctrine, we said, okay, how do we measure that? The reasonable man principle. And what came out of the discussion from the justices were two primary things: training and experience. What is your training and what is your experience? And that includes life experience. You don't have to go to college. It's like I'm 21 years old. I have 21 years of life experience. But when we looked at that incident, not just the reasonable man principle, but the court also looks at the reasonable professional standard. So someone that's had additional training, whether it's law enforcement, medical, whatever, we've had a little bit extra. So everything that has happened to that officer plays into it, and that was part of the reasonableness of them making the decision that they did.
I love them putting the reasonable man.
Yeah.
I would like to be called a reasonable man. I'm going to write a song. I'm just a reasonable man.
I'm a reasonable kind of man.
Wait. I'm sorry. I'm going to write it, but you're going to sing it. Because I think you do a hell of a job with it. So, I only know enough about this stuff to be dangerous. And I think everybody does their immediate what's up. I was weirded out, not in the first video, but the second one that I saw, which was, I guess, the ICE agent. Do we call him an agent or an officer? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Either one.
Yeah.
Then I was watching him videotape walking around the car. I was like, what are you doing? I don't even know what he was doing at that time. I don't know if he had placed safety down on a lower tier at that moment or not. It just seemed weird. The whole thing seemed weird to me. I didn't know what everybody was doing in the street.
Yeah.
I didn't know what all the honking was about. Why was the car turned kind of at an angle, weird, not quite completely blocking the street, but pretty much blocking it? I didn't know what the hell was going on. So I found the whole thing to be just strange.
I thought it to be very telling, and it led into what is now in process, and that was, I think he was doing something in good faith. He was trying to record what was going on.
Because he did not have a body cam on,
because
right?
ICE,
Yeah.
those agents,
Yep.
up to this point, have not been issued body cameras, and now it's becoming a big deal. Well, that's what he was trying to do. And when you talk about videotaping everything, whether the officer has it on or activates it, my opinion about body cameras in law enforcement is it will make good cops better and bad cops go away. So the fact that he was even attempting to record it, because he knows everybody else is, that was a good thing.
And I see how you can say that that's probably one of the people that would welcome having body cameras on them. And I've said for years, as we talked about this over the last month, I believe every single law enforcement agent out there should have a body camera on them. If they have the ability to enforce the law, make arrests, detain people, carry a firearm for the protection of the rest of us, we have to have that video on them running because it's available now, and so it has to be.
And how many times it's even happened in this community? Sheriff Dwayne Carey's done it a couple of times over the years. When something happens and the accusations and people start to get their back up, and he says, "I've already looked at this. I'm going to clear it to release, but it is what is called left of bang, which is the name of a book. It's not the incident. It can be before the incident. If the XY axis, if the X axis is your timeline, bang is the incident. We'll go back left of the incident before the timeline and see what happened in the 10 seconds, 30 seconds prior to that. It's like taking things out of context. It's what we're seeing now. It's like not just what somebody's complaining about, not just the use of force incident, but what were the actions and behaviors of the subject, of the officers, of the group. You're peaceful protesting. Yeah, well, why did you bring a gas mask, chest rig, and shin guards to your peaceful protest?
Yeah, but
so
you can't
those things
if you
are
want
coming
to.
out.
Some people wear crap like that every day. They want to look like a Ninja Turtle or like somebody from a Mad Max movie, right? I mean, you want to do that, it's up to you.
So that's all good information to know.
Yeah. Taking it out of context is very, very real. And at some point, I'll tell you about the Jesus and the Donuts routine that happened a long, long time ago with me and Sarah Hunter on a morning radio show, because I took a lot of heat
Jesus
on that
and
one.
the Donuts.
But
all right.
Left of Bang.
Left of Bang.
Left
It's a
of
book
Bang.
that was written by two guys with, I believe one was a Marine, but it talks about events leading up to, seeing caution indicators and warning signs. Yes, I can walk down the back alley to Bush's to get my burger, because I'm carrying a gun and you're not afraid. I'm like, no, I may carry a gun, but I'm going to walk on the sidewalk around the front because that's the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
So it reinforces those kinds of behaviors as well.
Yeah.
Right. And I've never heard anybody bring this up before.
And it ought to be a conversation point for everyone.
If you have, it certainly doesn't stand out to me. So I just think I've missed this over the years. I'm glad you're bringing it up, and I'd like to look into that.
Well, and how often is it that we see an incident, something happens, we get this tiny little 9-second clip on social media, and then there's this uproar,
right.
And then the body camera footage comes out, and the full story comes out, and you're like, oh. But it's like a lot of them feel like they can't back down from their stance. It's like, whatever I came out with. It's like, no, there's no information. You can change. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah, and I think there are people that are, let's say, some people are pro law enforcement and some people are anti law enforcement, and they may run to their corners immediately. I don't feel like I did on this. I ran to one corner specifically, which was, I am so not happy this happened.
Right.
And if we can't find ourselves there in the humanity of this, I don't know what the hell we're talking about.
100%.
I mean, if the person who was shot and killed in the car is not a very good person, that doesn't change anything about this.
It's still a life lost.
Yeah. And it's on our streets. So today, on your street that you live on your country gravel road, would you like someone to be shot and killed today? I didn't say murdered. Would you like it to happen? Would you like someone to escape from the local jail and maybe they've been charged with murder and they're running loose and on your street they get shot and killed because we felt like we had to do that to protect? Would you like it to happen today? And I'm pretty sure you're a weird son of a bitch if you say yeah.
That's right, yeah.
And I want to know when so I can sit out front with a cup of coffee and watch this thing going on.
Yeah.
So I'm saying most of us don't want that to happen on the streets
Correct.
of
And-
the United States.
Correct. And you discussed with Tom on the show, a month or so ago, something that's not happening now as much as it needs to be, and that's cooler heads.
Yes.
We have to take a breath.
Yeah.
We have to, let the investigation take its course. We can't let people bait us into or goad us into getting hot-headed, losing our cool. Somebody could watch this podcast tomorrow and take a piece, like you said, Ellis.
Yep.
Well, that's stupid, that's wrong, that's dumb. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Or did you listen to the whole show?
Right.
So, that is huge, and that's one of the big things that a lot of people don't realize, that, while we're screaming at the officers that are online, while we're saying, you need to uncover your face so you can be discovered. Well, you know what? He's got a badge with a number on it. He's got a name tag on it. And P.S., that face covering is also protective equipment. So, people are spitting, spraying stuff, and we need to really take a breath and realize these people are highly trained. They're also normal people like the rest of us. I mean, they have hot buttons and triggers too. That is something I think is really being missed today.
It's taking something that happened in the look, I don't know how many people wound up on the wrong end of a gun up in Minneapolis. I'm aware of 2, right? So the second person who was shot and killed, a video came out of him from about a week earlier or something, yelling, protesting, whatever he was doing. And then he kicked a van.
Busted out the taillight.
And he smashed out the taillight with his foot. That's either a really good kick or I don't even know what you would call. I don't even know what he was doing. In that instant, no, he doesn't look like a very good person. I don't know what the hell his deal is. At no point can you say, I'm pretty sure he does that again, we're going to put a bullet in him. So that itself would not be used. We're not aware that he did anything to hurt a human being at that point, right?
Right.
So, and people want to get into that if they want to defend ICE.
It's helping them justify the actions. You know what I mean? It's like, if they're a bad person, then I don't have to feel as bad. But no, it's still a human life lost.
Right. I mean, let's say today you get your ass kicked by somebody, and you're like, I didn't deserve that. I'm like, I saw you last week at the grocery store. You didn't put the cart back in the cart
You
corral.
deserved it.
You are a son of a bitch. And I do think you're an evil person if you don't.
Tom
put it
has
back.
a really low barrier for who deserves a beating.
I'm just saying. No, you don't deserve a beating, and you can't call that into play.
Right.
And so yeah, we have to be cooler heads need to prevail
And
at these times.
And we need to look at the Minneapolis area as a microcosm of what's going on nationally. I mean, obviously there's an agenda. It's being funded from people outside. When you can have an incident happen and suddenly a dozen professionally printed, prepared posters with names on it pop up, we know this is not being done locally.
Unless they're printing companies that are always out, you're just ready for a protester to walk by and they're like, I've got your latest three posters going up.
Tom, can you and I launch a new business, protest printing? Like we'll direct ship your things.
Would you look and see on GoDaddy, protestprinting.com and see what's available? No, you're right.
Well, you
right.
need to look at who are the people that are screaming, yelling, ranting in the face. Who are the agitating behaviors, and who are the ones that are trying to de-escalate, trying to create space. That in itself is very telling.
Well, and we have an issue involving lawlessness. We've talked about it locally in Columbia. Obviously, we have some very cities that are very much allowing certain behaviors in their community. We saw it a few years ago with things like protesting that turned into really rioting. It was burning cars.
Yeah.
It was tearing things down. It was looting stores and buildings and everything else going on. And they allowed it to happen night after night after night.
Mm-hmm.
And you do that, you're going to have more problems coming your way. So you need to say, no, we're not going to allow these things to happen right here. And then we need the rest of us that are all closer to the middle. We have extremists in every direction, but 3 screaming extremists do not represent 97 people that are huddled in the middle going, we're just trying to do what? We're trying to get a good night's sleep.
Go to work, sleep.
Go to work.
Not get shot.
We would like our kids to maybe learn something at school today that they can use positively in their life in the future. These are the simple things. Maybe have a nice dinner tonight, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason,
You got some pork butt smoking? You'd like to get home to it?
Yeah. You know the way I am.
Yeah, man.
And it's been a long time since we've had a steak together,
Ooh.
too.
Or a burger while you had pita as a guy.
That's still one of the meanest things I've ever done. That is one of the... And I don't know if that archive is still around, by the way.
Probably not. How old was it?
That's
It was a long
over
time.
10 years. That was
Oh, yeah,
back
it's
when you were
lost.
still in the off
Yeah.
Limon.
I'm sure Tom's glad it's gone.
Not the burger.
yeah.
Were they... You cooked... Were they 1-pound burgers?
Yeah, that was the only time you've ever let anybody between the grill and you.
Ooh.
I came in early, 1-pound burgers. I'd added some egg to hold all the ground beef together.
Oh.
Somebody's hitting on my wife. I'm like, it's okay. Just stay away from my grill.
Stay away from my grill.
You can have my girl. Don't
can't
take
have
my
my
grill. That's what I'm saying.
I
about
ate
that.
breakfast, but now I'm starving.
Were
That
they
sounds so
were
good.
they tall Budweisers? Is that what we drank that
Yep.
morning on the show? Tall Budweisers.
Yep.
And the belching in between the interview with PETA. I still think I could be sued for that by somebody. Is there like
It's gone now.
Yeah,
A statute of
is there a
limitations.
yeah, you can't bring this back up to me and hit me on this thing.
Remember,
I
it's
think
statute, not statue of limitations.
That's right.
Kramer got that wrong.
When we still have a little bit of time, Todd, and I just want to make sure that we hit a couple of other things that might be on your mind when we talk about safety out there for everyone. A couple more shootings happened this week. When they talk mass shooting, if you hit me with a bullet, it's a mass shooting. Okay, that's what you've hit the mass of my body, and I'm not happy. I don't care anymore what defines a mass shooting. If you think a shooting is important enough that it happened in Miami and you want to run a news story and talk about it in Kansas City, maybe it's the way that it happened. Maybe you've got a gut feel that people in Kansas City are all talking about it, and you're paid to know what's going on. I'm not going to tell you whether or not it's important enough. I will tell you there are a lot of shootings you don't talk about, and I don't understand that. We have a lot in this community, and it happens all the time. And we have idiots out there, and I don't know what the hell to do with them, you guys. There was an armed robbery at a bank last week by a 71-year-old son of a bitch who was about 110 yards from the police station in downtown Columbia. If you go through the
Did they catch him? I haven't seen a
alley-
follow-up
yeah,
yet.
They got him.
Okay.
For all I know, he ran in the wrong
To the
direction.
police station.
Excuse me, officer, I got to get by.
Oops.
And that's an armed robbery. I've never faced someone with a gun telling me to hand over money. I don't even know what the hell would happen to me besides pissing in my pants. I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
Now, if the Minister of Defense was with me at the time, I'd be like, I'm sorry, you want what?
Go ahead and try.
Todd, did you hear what this person said? So, but this is the craziest. I don't know what's going on with him. Does he have a death wish? Is he looking for a comfortable 4x4 cell for the next few years? I don't have any idea. But everybody's crazy out there. And the number of shootings we have on the streets of Columbia is more than we need. I don't care if somebody says they're mass shootings or not, but that's the way I feel about that. Tell me a place that you believe is dangerous enough that you wouldn't go.
That's a short list.
No, really.
The alley
you caught me
behind
off guard.
Booch's.
Yeah.
That I can't think of a specific place like right now, but from a situational awareness perspective, when I see something, we're in traffic. I've been on the highway. Joe and I did over 3,000 miles the past couple of weeks. So
Holy cow!
a lot of highway time. And
Now, how much was that with sled dogs, and how much was that a vehicle?
they won't let me drive the sled dog. But the example of awareness is, when you see taillights, a mile ahead, lighting up and things slowing down, you have a decision to make. Can I get off at this exit now? Do I want to do that, or do I want to get right up in the middle of everything and be stuck?
Yeah.
that's kind of a safe example. So, 15, 20-ish years ago, the Fed came up with the if you see something, say something. Mm-hmm. In 2002, the United States Secret Service did a study on this, and before the Safe Schools Initiative, why is this happening in schools and why aren't kids reporting it? Because we were finding out that 90% of the time, another kid knew about it before it happened. 80% of the time, more than one kid knew about it. Why aren't they saying something?
Wow. And
it was because of our culture. They didn't believe, they thought they would get in trouble at school. They didn't have a relationship with somebody at school. They were afraid and all that. So what I'm getting at is another thing we haven't talked about today, not just the culture, because we can't get to a place where it is acceptable. We're like, okay, school shootings are happening every day. That's just the way it is. We can never allow ourselves to get to that place.
No.
The other thing is trust your senses. There's a book written by Gavin DeBecker called The Gift of Fear. I've mentioned that a few times.
You said the gift
of fear? The gift of fear.
Interesting.
Fear is a gift given to us by God. We can choose to use it or we can choose to blow it off. It's also called women's intuition because women tend to be better about it. They're like, hey, something's going on, but the guy says, roll over, go to sleep. The dog's not barking, the smoke alarm's not going off, or watch this and hold my beer. Mm-hmm. Even worse. So, God gives us that trigger, and, that's an opportunity to, what just happened? What's going on? What am I looking for? So I see something, and before it becomes a fear issue or I have to run away, left of bang, maybe I can avoid that completely and then let somebody know. Hey, my name's Todd Burke. I see something going on. I don't know what it is, but it really strikes me as strange. I call 311 instead of 911 and let somebody else know. So, my two fears are, one, I do something stupid, I get killed, and then it's in the media that, Todd Burke, the guru for, the governor of mid-Missouri, was a dumbass, and, look at him. Yeah. I'm kind of joking, but I don't want that to happen.
No, I certainly get that.
Yeah. So so there's a fear. Okay? The second fear is that I'm not prepared as best I can be.
Right.
Not being a crazy live underground prepper and I got all of my MREs, but just simply...
Just to be clear, you do have some MREs, don't you?
Fewer and fewer because they don't agree with my gut so much.
That's a young man's eating.
Right. But just being, am I prepared for my day? Yeah. The storm is coming, I got a tank full of gas. The generator, I know that's good. I'll tell you right now, I received a text while we were talking from my wife, and it's all in caps.
Uh-oh.
And the reason I keep kind of doing this is you've got my chair positioned
right
with the back
door
to the
behind
door.
You.
And Joan said, watch your back.
Yep.
Just simple stuff like that. And it's what we call...
Did she say watch your back, or did she say watch your six? Back. Oh. Joan, you let me down. I really thought you would.
I knew that would make him nervous when we put his chair there.
It's interesting because I never planned it that way. Mm-hmm. But when I walk into a place like this, I want one spot and one spot only. And that spot is called the Cowboy Corner.
Yep.
That's always what it's going to be. And you're like, what is that? I'm like, I can see everything that's going on, especially who's walking in this place. Yeah. That's where I'm comfortable. This whole thing.
And then do you have a plan?
And then I've got a plan. The whole thing about being prepared, you mentioned the tank full of gas. When you were talking about that you're not prepared for something, I immediately started putting it to tank full of gas. When the temperature goes down to 5 below, I make sure that thing is not on E.
Yeah.
And it's not just that I have a lot of gas. You're more likely to have a frozen fuel line if you have water buildup. That's what I've been told all these years. And I want to make sure I've got enough gas to be able to burn when I need. I don't want to get caught out there with this stuff with people.
Well, and I do it too for if the heat goes out in the house, and we had to go to the vehicles to keep the kids warm. That's where my mindset comes too. Yeah,
it's all these things that go into play, and it's as I said last week, being a lifelong Boy Scout, I always think about all this stuff. I took one of the bags of salt downstairs yesterday that was unopened, but the other one is staying up in the garage because we're not out of winter yet, so it's staying there for now. People are like, oh no, it looks like we're probably past all that. I'm like,
Missouri says hold my beer.
As soon,
Well, something else. If anybody's listening, if you've got kids, especially kids that don't have their driver's license yet, here's something that I did with my daughters, and this is fun. It's not scary, but it's good prep. Yes, you're going to get your driver's license. I support that. You got good grades, all that happy stuff. But at my house, before they could get their license and take a car out, You had to show me how to check all the fluids.
Oh, nice.
You had to show me how to make sure there was enough air in the tires. You had to show me that you could change a tire and how to change a serpentine belt.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, the serpentine belt might be going a little bit far on this thing.
Especially on these modern cars.
I want you to remove the transmission, take it apart, and put it back together. But changing a spare tire.
Very important.
Safely.
Safely. Yeah. I knew how to do that before I was anywhere close to getting a driver's license, and it was just the way we lived, I think, back then. Hell, one of our cars doesn't have a jack in it because it's run-flat tires. I found that out when I stopped on the side of the road to help a young man who didn't have a jack for his car. And I go, let me take care of you, partner. And I walk back there. I open the trunk, and I'm like, I don't
have one.
In here. You want to know what's worse is that I came back, and somehow I found a way to help him. I helped him change his tire with something that he had going on. So we got it done. The whole time he had his headlights on, and I wasn't up in the back. I was in the front. I was behind him. And as I pulled past him, I knew the engine wasn't running and the headlights were on. And I was like, I don't like the look of that. So I drove around the block and I came back, and he's standing outside the car again, and he goes, "The battery's dead."
Yeah, I bet it is.
So I go, "Don't worry, partner."
You did have the jumper cables, right?
And I open up the front hood, and I look, I'm like, there's no battery in here. I had to go back to the trunk again. The battery's in the trunk for that vehicle.
Gosh.
Yes, I was able to jump the car and get him on his way.
I have no response for that.
Yeah, I know.
I have no response for that.
There was a time a man knew what was going on with the car. Is it a defense if I go, hey, it's Deb's car, it's not mine? Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes it better.
Okay.
Oh, heck yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
50
that.
cool points.
Yeah.
The truest fears that people have can be based on a fallacy out there. They may have no idea what they're actually dealing with.
Yeah.
If you're not sure, back away.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things. And we're going to finish with this little red light, green light thing that you got. And I know you raised your daughters to understand this, and I understand it. When should I be under there's no concern, I'm going to relax and have nothing going on, no worries, that's full green light? When should that be?
When you are in your safe place, when you are at your compound at the dead end of the county road, and the concertina wire is up, the Claymore arms are mined, that's when I'm sitting in a chair with my cigar and my bourbon, and I know that my three gals, they're walking the perimeter with night optics,
and you're safe. When should you have the yellow caution light up?
I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
When can you completely let your guard down? When you're in your safe place, when you're not operating machinery. Other than that, you want to operate in what we call condition yellow, which is relaxed and alert, cautious but not tense.
Mm-hmm.
So
which is the way you should be in that every time you're driving.
Right, like we are. Like we are right now.
Yeah.
But when you do get one of these stimuli, when a trigger hits, then you go from yellow to orange, which is a state of alarm. It's like, what was that?
So if a car screeched to a stop out in front of Truman's right now, you'd be in orange.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I might be.
Let's. I mean, we all hear it, right?
Yeah.
We'd all look. We go to orange immediately. It doesn't mean that there's danger happening, but we are now at a higher level of alert, right?
Yeah, something caught our attention, and our brain and all of our life experiences, Graham versus Connor 1989, are saying, hey, something unusual happened, evaluate it.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a river a number of years ago, and there was a guy, you know how people party on the float trips in the state of Missouri. If you've never seen it, I'm not sure that you want to. It's a scary thing.
We didn't do any of the beer drinking, partying on my youth float trips and my church of outings. Sorry, Tom.
I wish I could tell you I didn't also, but I can't quite say that. And there was a guy out there who had a full-ass whistle on him, and it didn't work for me. Because he was having fun directing canoe traffic coming through.
Tweet, 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 tweet.
But it was a real whistle, right? And he'd blow it, and every time he'd blow it, I'm back at orange.
Yeah.
And I go back to yellow, I'm back at orange. And I finally said, dude, you got to stop it with the whistle. And he got really pissed at me. And I'm like, well, you could whistle for help, but now you're going to be the boy who cried whistle because it's not going to work. But that was if somebody dropped a pan over here right now, we could go to orange.
Yeah.
If somebody raised their voice right now, and I don't mean your style, Ellis.
What do you say? I'm not loud.
If somebody raised their voice and they sounded upset, we would go to orange and we look over and we realize, oh, they're just quoting a movie and they're all laughing and it was funny. We'd go back to yellow. But it's because of our experience. When something goes up like that, we go, I don't know if this is when someone's going to throw something down. I don't know what's going to happen. So we go to orange. When is it red?
Red is orange. In your state of alarm in orange, you have now identified red is fight or flight. Red is it's in your face. I need to make a decision now. So here you have two options. If you truly have been in yellow and escalated to orange and you're working through the process, as opposed to being in condition white, which is environmental unawareness, if you're in yellow, you can escalate, you can move up and down, and your mind, your body responds. If you're in white and that threat stimulus is applied, you don't go to red, you go to black. Black is panic, misdirected frenzy, paralysis. You lock up. It is we all have the startle response, which is normal and natural. So the startle response happens, and we're stuck in it. We don't know what to do, or we do what's called dynamic inactivity. We start moving without purpose, and if we don't snap out of that's a bad deal.
When we, back to the law enforcement out there, they go through the training, and you train them on this stuff. They're told all these things, so they're always working it.
Right.
Very consciously and purposely going through this whole thing, right?
Right, and with simple little things like how you conduct yourself. Do you shake hands with a person? Yes. Why do you not occupy your dominant hand? You drink coffee with your left hand, you open a door with your left hand, because this hand is reserved for going for a specific tool on your belt in an emergency. Why do I stand a certain way? Why do I stand off to the side of a door? Why do I walk up and not run up? So these aren't stressful things. These are just natural things we build into ourselves.
And this is why training is so important. Like, I know Missouri is a right to carry state. I know you don't have to have a conceal and carry permit anymore.
I'm glad you brought that up because
it's so important to train.
It gets lost a little bit because people think it's still there.
Yeah, they think I've got a gun. I know what I'm doing. Like, no, you've got to go to these trainings.
And you have to train, but we don't have to have the CCW anymore.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, that changed in 10 years ago, 2016. Yep. So open carry is legal. Carrying without a permit is legal. Carrying with a permit is okay. So 3 different ways, but the one thing that the permit does do is it gives you that additional, I took that extra step even though I didn't have to. Right. It familiarizes you with what the laws are, but most importantly, the way Missouri is structured is if you can't get a permit till you're 19. We're trying to bring that down to 18. You can carry when you're 18 without a permit, so there's a year carrying legally concealed. We had a lot of stuff Chuck Basie and Dale Roberts have done a good job trying to change that. But the main reason you want to have a permit is if you carry into a posted location or an unauthorized location, you are asked to leave. You refuse to leave. Well, now you're a dumbass creating a peace disturbance and trespassing. And the police show up. You may be fined $100. However, if you don't have a permit and the same thing happens, you have committed a misdemeanor as soon as you cross the threshold. Nobody required to say anything to you. That's prima facie evidence for a police officer to basically make an arrest. So doing the same behavior with a permit is a $100 fine if the officer decides to offer a ticket, but it is not a criminal event.
Interesting.
If you don't have a permit, that is a Class B misdemeanor, and now you have a gun crime on your record.
Whoa.
Oh, God.
Well, and it's so important because we have reciprocity with how many states with
39.
our CCW? So 39 states. That's another reason is if you have your CCW, because there's a lot of states that don't have constitutional carry. There's a lot of states that don't have just free conceal and carry.
So if you're going to be traveling, you better make sure you know.
Go through, and I have no financial benefit to this, but go through Todd's training. Like, come on, guys. This is so important.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend
go through the training.
And you can find the dates on my website, which is created by Floating Axe.
Thank you very much.
floatingaxe.com and tactical-specialties.com. And I don't want to bring this up because I don't remember the last time that it was brought up on the show. But when my family was going through a period of feeling threatened, of feeling like there was some imminent danger in our lives, I did reach out to you. And I want to thank you for being there. And I think that that initial time we must have spent 30, 45 minutes on the phone that day.
I remember.
It's when there's something real. I think I was at Orange,
Sure.
at that time. And I want to thank you for being there. So when we talk about you being the Minister of Defense, you truly are.
Minister of War.
Well, it is war every single day.
Maybe
Todd Burke.
Pete Hegseth on.
Thank you so much for coming in.
It's good to see you guys. Great hanging out with you guys.
And we will. I know we kind of bounce around a little bit. I have a little bit of that ADHD thing, which I enjoy.
Which is AD. Well, look at that.
Right. and it's fun that way in our conversations. But we could go on and on and on for hours. We'll have you back again sometime in the near future.
Cool.
And do this again. So, Todd Burke, thank you.
Thank you. Farley, Joan, Fiona, I love you.
Aw.
Thanks to Bloomington Fire Department.
Love you guys. Especially if I'm in a fire.
Yeah.
I
really like them.
Thank you, Todd. It was what a great conversation all the way through.
Absolutely.
I just
We watched the girls grow up on Facebook. Like the rifles when they were younger, the rifles were bigger than the girls, and then they grew up and grew up. It's so cool.
the rifles are still bigger than me. So for what that's worth, I was so deep in the conversation and having so much. I'll call it fun. I'm intrigued by it. I'm interested in it. I think it's something that we all should be learning, and it's a great refresher course for me. It always is to talk to Todd about these things. And I was having so much, and I looked at my notes. I was like, we have other stuff we have to do before we get out of here.
Oh, well.
And that's when don't say, oh, well, this is important stuff. And you
No, I meant to the time. Because it's like, we don't have a hard cutoff time. We don't have some radio station that's going to shut us off.
Well,
so you cover what you need to.
I know, but if we took our time, we may not get around to this.
All right.
Ready. You gotta keep your eyes on the crap.
You can't handle the crap.
Looky here. There's a big difference between shit and shinola.
As my great-grandfather always said, Matumba, keep your eye on the crab.
Thank you, Matumba. Keeping your eye on the crap with Family Focus Eye Care online, famfocuseye.com. I gave you the trivia last week. Here's the trivia again. What part of the eye sends visual information to the brain?
And we both said ocular nerve, right?
The optic nerve.
Optic nerve.
You had retina, optic nerve, lens, or iris. And they gave us the answer, and we were both right.
All right.
We were both right. By the way, Family Focus Eye Care, I love what you guys do, and certainly appreciate it. Amazingly. I have to share this with you, what someone else posted. Lawrence. You don't hear the name Lawrence very often, by the way.
No, I was thinking of Kansas. That's the only one I think of.
It's why you don't hear it around here.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, let's name our son Lawrence. What kind of an idiot are you? Lawrence wrote, very friendly staff at Family Focus Eye Care and super explanatory. It was my first time in an eye doctor since moving here. And they explained what each machine did, what they were looking for, and helped find the perfect glasses for me and my wife. Overall, it was just a very welcoming and friendly environment. That's nice to hear. So thank you. Family Focus Eye Care. Keeping your eye on the crap. My friends, I already had an issue going on with Memorial Stadium and Faurot Field. Those are two different names for the same place. I had a problem going on because the new expansion on the north end zone, $250 million, by the way.
Good grief.
That new expansion is so beautiful. It's incredible. And as you start turning the bend on Stadium Boulevard and you see it, you're like, ah, it's incredible. The problem that I've had is MU Healthcare sitting on the building, sitting on the stadium. It doesn't look right. Nothing against MU Healthcare, but if it said MU Trash Services, it just wouldn't look right.
Right.
It is not MU Healthcare, which is across Stadium Boulevard. It doesn't say brought to you by or anything like that.
Sponsored by.
It just says it, and I don't like it. So something has to be changed. Well, they're going to change it.
You're the governor.
All right.
Do something about it.
Mizzou is actively seeking a corporate naming rights partner. Uh-oh. Keep your eye on the crap.
Yep.
Let me tell you something. L.A. has the Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stadium.
Yeah.
They play sports out there, sporting events. It's been there for a long, long time. The Los Angeles Coliseum. If during the 70s, while it existed, a very wealthy person had said, I don't think things are going very well for this fellow who's in prison. What's his name again? Oh, you mean Charles Manson? Yeah. I'm going to give Los Angeles, I'm going to give them a few $1 million. I want them to rename the LA Coliseum Charles Manson Stadium. If you're going to take any money
Our
for this
sports
thing,
team slaughter.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm worried. Now, it was called Memorial Stadium, and it was called that in honor of World War I veterans who lost their lives in World War I. And I guess you heard the joke, too soon? Mm-hmm. Is this like, is it too late? Or has it been too long? I don't know. Look, if you want to rename this and give someone naming rights, I understand that. I certainly am a capitalist, and I understand it. You better make sure it's someone who signs on, and they do it for the right reasons. It's long-term, and we're not going to be upset with what happens. And that name better fit, bitches, because if it doesn't...
We just went through this. Wasn't the basketball stadium renamed after it was named after a certain person, and then things came out?
And when it was named after a person... The person, I'll go through the story. Bill Laurie gave us $25 million. I believe the arena cost us $50 million. The north end zone alone is $250 million.
Good Lord.
Be that as it may, $25 million, that's a lot of money. He gave the money, and that gave him some level of naming rights, and he said, we're going to call it Page Sports Arena. Whoa. After your daughter? No. We're naming it after my sports company, which is called Page Sports. That was named after your daughter. Well, that's neither here nor there. And what? It never should have been called Page Sports Arena, and yet Mizzou took the money and they named it that. And then a couple of years later, she was found to have cheated on some exams out in Berkeley, out in California. That's right. She didn't go to Mizzou, by the way. So we took that off, and that's when it became Mizzou Arena. We're going to get this done, and my guess is they already have shopped it out there, and they already know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So this is like the 9th stage of a 10-stage deal. That's my belief.
I would
could
think
be
so.
wrong. But with that being said, if you let somebody name this thing and it has nothing to do with Missouri, it has nothing to do with Columbia, with what the university has stood for all these years. If it's just we're not going to call it Purina Dog Chow Stadium. And I don't have any problem with Purina Dog Chow.
Right.
If the apocalypse happened, I'd be eating it right alongside you. But we're not going
Todd has MREs. We can go get his MREs.
Which one's more disagreeable with you?
There might be more real food in the Purina.
They said they believe this is going to cost $2 to $4 million per year.
Okay.
For whoever's picking this thing up. They will
Floating Axe might do that.
Yeah, I hope so. They'll find some way to still honor the former honorees, being those young men who lost their lives in World War I. And it may not have been the rush that World War II had, but there were still young men that saw what the Kaiser was doing and believed it to be right, and they went ahead and enlisted to go overseas and fight. And they lost their lives, and some of them were true sons from Missouri, and they were a part of the University of Missouri in one way or another faction, and they went. So they're still going to find a way at Mizzou to honor them, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
They will not be changing the name Faurot Field.
Good.
So that's going to remain. They said this will happen by the 2026 season. I'm sorry, what year is it now?
It is that right now.
Okay. So it's going to happen.
I guess it's not football season, though, right? That won't start up again for several months. So maybe that's what they meant.
August it'll be here. So, and that name will be on it, which means it has to be on a sign by then. How long does it take to make a sign? Well, then you do the handiwork on this. I'm pretty sure somebody is already in pocket on this.
Maybe our protester printing can help them.
Protesterprinting.com. On that note, I am fairly certain we are going to step away. Then that's. I do like protesterprinting.com.
Yeah. Hey, I'll make a buck any way I can.
I don't like protesters.
Right.
I don't even give a damn what you're protesting. I just get tired of it.
Yep.
I get tired of it. Unless you're protesting this show, I could use some.
We could use the exposure.
Yes. We got to go, my friends. Live this day as if it were your last. I say to you, okay.